Every journey starts with a question. For me, it just started with a simple thought. What does fitness really mean to autistic kids? How does fitness support them? We talk a lot about inclusion, support, and opportunity, but how often do we stop and look closely at what these words actually look like in real life? In gyms, in classrooms, in families, in the quiet moments that nobody sees them. Over the past few weeks, I've met parents, trainers, and experts who opened their hearts to share their stories of challenge, stories of hope, and a lot of stories of breakthroughs. A week ago, I had an opportunity to attend a Fit to Lead class at Ability Center. The experience was truly eye opening. The session focused on inclusion, fitness, and how to create environments that are genuinely accessible for people with disabilities. One message that stayed with me was if the environment is not suitable, then it's not inclusion. This reminded me that as leaders, as the coaches, we have a responsibility to build a space where everyone feels welcome, respected, and supported. The Ability Center has so many thoughtful inclusive features. One of my favorite was their color-coded rooms, like yellow room marked with a guitar symbol, a simple but powerful tool for people on the autism spectrum who rely on visual cues to navigate. Before the session even began, we explored the different types of adaptive machines available. Some examples included are pressure adjustable equipments where each arm or leg can have different resistance levels depending on person's need. Accessible weighted machines designed to ensure that everyone can use them safely and comfortably. We also tried fun-based games that encourage movement and track progress. I participated in one myself and it was so much fun. These games allow individuals to see their score improve after training, and if they don't see the improvement, the instructor can easily guide and modify their training plan. Another important takeaway for me was to use first person language, which I want to use consistently in my future practice. Person who is blind, not blind person. Person on the autism spectrum, not autistic kid. We also learned about different cueing methods to make exercise accessible: verbal cueing, physical cueing, visual cueing. This reinforced the importance of using plain language, offering variations, and avoiding words like easy or hard. Instead, we'll use paraphrases such as lower impact option, lower resistance option. These are the exercises that people can think they are feeling included and they are not doing the easier option or the harder option. Another key lesson was to never single someone out in the group class. Communication should be directed to a group class as a whole to promote positivity and inclusivity. This training gave me so much valuable insights, and I am excited to apply them in my coaching journey. Ability Center has this universal design: automatic doors at all access points in the building, ramps that are easily accessed by all users, two elevators that can be accessed at the back and at the front of the building, hallways that are lined in yellow, weight machines that are all users can access, cardio machines that all users can access, space between machines for transferring, group fitness classes with variations provided. All group fitness classes are provided with chairs, personal training services for all. So these are the universal design that Ability Center have. The relationship between diversity and inclusion. Diversity is having a seat at the table. Inclusion is having a voice, and belonging is having the voice be heard. Okay, now let's move forward to the interviews that I have taken with the experts. The very first one we have with us is Kathy. She works at Carlington and she also works at other places. Currently, she's training an autistic kid. Let's have insight of how she trains him and what knowledge she wants to share with us today.
Hi, my name is Kathy. I'm a personal trainer here at the Curtis Community Complex. I've been training a wide range of clients over the last 2 years or so, and within the last 2 years, I've had 2 clients that are on the autism spectrum that come to me once a week. One comes for an hour, the other one comes for a half hour, and together we go through some resistance training exercises that they enjoy, as well as a little bit of cardio. And together we work towards building a challenging program for them that they enjoy and that they feel comfortable doing. And also with that, they've also learned a lot about proper technique and form and how to get the most out of their strength training exercises. The strategies that I use to help the clients feel more comfortable is really working with them, staying close to them, really asking them questions. Do they feel safe? Do they feel comfortable? Is there anything that I can do to help? On occasion, I have reached out to one of the clients, his mother. She's very good in the fact that her and I communicate back and forth just to get a full understanding that this particular client is fully comfortable and engaged and enjoying his time that we have together while we're training. Some advice that I would give to other trainers if they will be training anyone with autism is to really look for visual cues. Sometimes I have noticed with one of the clients that I'm working with, he is nonverbal, so he really doesn't say very much. I'll usually get maybe a yes and maybe a no answer, and that's about it. So it's hard to sometimes gauge whether or not he's lifting heavy enough, or is he lifting too heavy. So I'm really working with him to try to understand, or try to have him let me know when the weight is too heavy. And again, I'm very much looking for visual cues, and I'm also making sure that he is understanding or knowing when he needs to stop at a certain weight. And we've come a long way with that, so it's working out really well. One of the ways that I have learned with the two clients that I have been teaching, some of the strategies that we have developed or we've started including in the program, is sometimes going to a little bit of a different room where there's not so many people, it's not so noisy. So fortunately here at this gym, we have two other rooms that we could utilize if there's too many people around, if there's a lot of banging. And this is just kind of a quiet space where the client and I can work together. It's much more calm, it's more relaxing. We can hear each other a little bit better. And I think that just creates a more comfortable environment at times, because sometimes within the gym, it can get pretty loud and a lot of banging going on. So if any gym had any kind of little off rooms off to the side that the clients could utilize, I think it would go a really long way. It certainly has here.
The another expert that we had today is Sharon, and she has an experience of 20 years in fitness industry, and she also has trained autistic clients, and currently she's taking an arthritis fitness class, which I am also going to, and she's an amazing instructor. I asked her some questions, and these are some of them.
Hi, my name is Sharon Wildemore, and I've been working in the fitness industry for 20 years, but I also have a background working with children with special needs, including people on the autism spectrum. So I think to make fitness sessions comfortable, you really need to know what the people's triggers might be or what they like. So it's like any other personal training. You get to be personal, know the person, and then go from there. So maybe being aware of how you cue, asking if touch is okay, noticing if sounds are bright, lights might be upsetting. So just trying to set up the environment so that it's successful for that person and whatever needs they might have. The advice I would give is to remember their people first. And so find out what their strengths are, find out where their support needs are, ask their family as well, and don't be afraid to try things that might not work at first, and just keep letting them know that there's options and you can try different things. So be flexible and be positive. I would say to be more accessible is to look at right from the start, how do we sign up? How do we make that information available for people? There's a lot of funding available, and so I think we could do a better job of promoting that, reaching out to support systems, getting the word out there where those inclusions are. So, for example, Curtis or Clarington Rec has a Wednesday swimming time when there's no sound and the lights are down lower, and so just making more of that available and promoting it. I think autism on a broader spectrum is something that we're continually learning about. It seems to be impacting more people, or we're aware of that, and so I would say just never assume that maybe somebody doesn't have challenges, whether that's autism or something else, when you're engaging with people. So kind of getting that idea of everybody has a story and we're only scratching the surface. So keep being curious and kind.
After After speaking with the experts and learning how about the techniques, the cueing, and the adaptive exercises, I realized that something more important to actually talk with parents. They are the ones who see the challenges at home, the small victories no one else notices, and the progress that happens long before it's visible. I had a privilege to talk to my colleague Jenny. His son is autistic and he's currently going to the daycare. Let's have insight of how she is handling autism with his kid and how his kid is adapted towards exercise. Hi Jenny, hi. Thanks for coming today. First, I would like to know how do you came to know about he has autism?
We came to know when he was in daycare at 3 years old. His daycare instructors noticed that he wasn't, following rules. He was kind of spacey. He just didn't have any awareness in instructions. He was more like play by himself, didn't really interact with other kids playing and sharing. So she told us to seek a professional and get him diagnosed if it was something he was exhibiting.
Okay. Is there anything he responds on dim lights? Like he like dim lights, he doesn't like so much crowd.
So much the lights, the crowds, yes, and then noise. Like when he was young, the like loud noises he did not like. So at school he wore headphones a lot. If there was an assembly or if there was loud, children were being loud in his class, he would actually have a headphone that he would wear most of the time. But lights, not so much. He's okay with lights, but it was just noise.
Oh, and how do you think if he does workout or some kind of physical activity, how do you think he responds to that? Does he likes it?
He actually likes it. So he was diagnosed with high functioning autism. So he was able to do a lot of physical activity things. He wasn't a clumsy child at all either. So he was able to do a lot of things physically. So autism is a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
So every child is different on this spectrum. So some could be high functioning like James, and some could be low functioning, right? Who are more severe and actually don't talk. Some are nonverbal, right?
Yeah.
And need more support than others.
Yeah. I have taken an interview of a trainer whose client is nonverbal, so all he just says nod his head
Yep.
or just say fine and yes or no. So she is getting difficult that if the weight that he's lifting is perfect for him, is he enough for it, or is he lifting too heavy? So it's nice to know that people with nonverbal give a different answer to fitness and people who are verbal give a different answer to fitness. I mean, you also mentioned that he was high functional in autism, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that is something new to know. He's fine playing with others, or he's just fine playing alone.
Most of the time, I do think that he prefers to be alone. But he will engage with other children if they're playing something that he wants to play, right? But most of the time, I do think that he prefers to be alone.
So yeah, so you mean he's picky?
Yeah, he's quite picky.
What strategies or support does your child needs and you think are the best for him?
Currently, he's going to CANARC for ABA therapy. So ABA is Applied Behavior Analysis, and we usually do like a consult to see what I think that he needs help on more, so that they can work with that. So he goes 2 days a week, and it's 2 hours each session, so it's 4 hours a week.
Okay, so you mean they just sit down with you and say what you want James to work on? Or it's just
so I know him best, right? So I know what he lacks and what he's good at, right? And so that they can take that and work with him on the things that I say that he needs more help on.
That makes sense. And you said he plays games there and also do some of the kinds of activities, right?
Yeah.
But not physical workout.
Not really, but they do have a small gym there, so they do play like some games. They have basketball net and that kind of stuff. So they do have some things. They have a big backyard, so when the weather's nice, they'll go outside and do some play there too.
Oh, okay.
And we probably do like 2 sessions in a year. And it's great because he gets to socialize with other children, and they work with him with the therapists and the counselors just to improve on his social skills.
So it's been a lot of improvement by attending the sessions, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these techniques that you just suggested me and told me, do you think any of the techniques you have been using at home, and are they useful for your child?
Yeah, well, you get to know what works and what doesn't work with
Yeah.
him, right?
Mhm.
So I find that with him, I have to give him warnings for things. Like he doesn't like it when something ends abruptly, right? So I always give him warnings, like 5 minutes, you have to go take a bath. You have only 5 minutes left on your iPad. Or in 5 minutes, we're going to leave the house because we have to go grocery shopping or whatever it is that we have to do. So giving him warnings prepares his brain to stop what he's doing so that he can go into the next step, right? I think kids with autism, they like routine.
Yeah.
They love routine. So you have to have a specific routine for everything. So, come home after school, he has to, he has a snack, and then he has to take a bath. He has to take a bath before he can get any iPad time. He knows that for sure. So if he wants to play with Lego, if he wants to watch TV, he can do all that. But he can't have his iPad until after he has his bath.
Yeah.
So he'll do whatever he wants, then he'll take his bath, and then he'll bring me the iPad, give him the password, he gets 1 hour. But the routine, right? And then afterwards we have dinner, and then he plays for a little bit more, or we do some homework if he has it. And then he gets his little dessert if he wants, and then brush his teeth, go to bed.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's his whole day routine.
Yeah, and he knows the routine, right? He knows what he has to do in the routine. And it's been like that since he was diagnosed, right? So we have specific routines for him. And the whole giving him time to adjust to anything that we do, that's a big thing. That is a huge thing that really helps him regulate his time, and that he knows. I mean, I don't know if he knows concept of time specifically at his age yet.
Yeah.
Like this 5 minutes, what does 5
The
minutes
mark.
mean, right?
Mhm.
Like what does 10 minutes mean? But he kind of knows the general idea of it,
That
right?
he has to get
5
things
minutes
done.
is almost is very soon. Like
Yeah.
1 hour is a lot, right? So yeah, and that's the routine that he likes. So people with autism, they say that they crave the conflict, the dopamine that they get when they are in a conflict with someone, with the raised voices and that is what they crave. So you can't rise to that with him. So I can't shout at him. If I shout at him, it feeds his dopamine and it gets him all hyper up. So if I want to, so the opposite of that is what I'm supposed to do. If he is, his voice is raised, I'm supposed to speak at a calmer voice and
Then
not
him.
feed into the dopamine that he craves, because his brain craves it. So it will escalate if I raise my voice and start yelling. So I always calm my voice and then say it in a very slow,
Gentle way.
gentle way, so that he doesn't get escalated even more.
Last but not the least thing that I learned at the Ability Center was keep it simple, be specific, observe, be positive and encouraging, demonstrate, and use variety of cues.